One. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to And Action Filmmaking Podcast. I'm Tommy DiNucci, as always, with my host, the one and only birthday boy himself, Mikey Messier. Happy birthday to you. Guys, I just got to stop the show and give a special birthday shout out to my dear friend Mike. Mike it's your special day, buddy. How you feeling today?
Like a princess, pal. No, it is a birthday, and that's always nice. It happens about this time every year, so that's good. And I appreciate. I had some nice texts and all that good stuff from people and Facebook and all that. So the best thing people can do, buddy, for my birthday is my charity this year is the gift of education. People can buy my coming of age sports novel or my slutty grindhouse book, Bad Girls with Good Tattoos, written by Kate Spain under the Open Chair Books. People can support my work. And buddy, for the people who watch this show, they can get my film book. So, but thanks for the birthday wishes, and I think around this time next year, I'll do the same thing.
I think that's a great idea, and we hope to see you this time next year. And we're going to be celebrating another one. But for today, we're going to be talking about a very magical genre in cinema, the kind of genre that all people seem to just love this time of year, and that is the magical, wonderful winter world of holiday films. And we're not just here to pay homage to holiday films. We're here to actually, this is a film making show. This show is designed to get filmmakers excited about their craft and to, you know, give them a few pointers on what could be helpful. And today we're going to be talking all about why every filmmaker, whether you're a writer, whether you're a director, even if you're an actor, it's probably not a bad idea to have at least one Christmas screenplay in your back pocket. And I know what you're thinking. I'm a horror writer. Well, I'm an action movie writer. Well, I like drama. What am I
Right.
doing with a Christmas movie? But the reality is, and we're going to get into this in great detail, Christmas movies are like a license to print money. They are a very fertile creative playing field, and a lot of producers love to make them because the facts are, guys, every single year the market is in need of more and more new Christmas movies. So we're going to be getting into all that and more. Mike, it's good to be back. We took a few weeks off. I missed everybody. I missed you. We talk
Thanks.
about this. Well, we talk about it on the show all the time, Mike. Uh, Mike lives in Florida. I live in Rhode Island. You almost couldn't be any further away in the continental United States. We're about as far as it gets from north to east, at least. And the reality is, every Monday when I come on the show, or I should say every Tuesday when I come on the show, that's my time to hang with Mikey. So it's good to be getting some of that time back. I was away shooting a movie called The Last Tenant, which I'm really excited about, guys. And this isn't just a sales pitch. Like, every time you finish a movie, it's a different feeling, and you never quite know what that feel is going to be.
Right.
As I lower my chair, see, I just went down a few shots. Some movies you finish the movie and you feel like, I don't know. I don't want to say let down, but you almost feel like, boy, that didn't quite turn out the way that I wanted it to. And you start thinking of, like a gambler who remembers the losses more than the wins. You start thinking of all the moments that you went wrong, all the moments you zigged when you should have zagged, and you can kind of play that back and question yourself over and over again. Well, this is a movie that I finished, and with the exception of one or two elements, like, I wouldn't have done anything different. It went so smooth, it went without a hitch. I had such a phenomenal cast that I got to work with. The actors in this movie were just uber talented. So I don't want to get too into it because I know there will be a full deep dive episode of The Last Tenant coming up down the road. But let me just tell you, what a great experience. It feels good to wrap a movie and head right into the holiday season here where we get extra jolly with the fam and friends, buddy.
How many productions did you work on in 2023, Tommy?
Gee, that's a good question, Mike. I mean, I know for a fact that I directed two feature films.
Right.
One Seclusion, which will be coming out, I'm sure, in probably the first quarter of 2024, although we don't have a release date. And then I just finished The Last Tenant. I did my short film. I did a short film by the name of No More Flip Phone, which was produced by Claudio Olafici. Love that last name. Very Italian last name. And I directed, or I'm sorry, I should say I produced The Florist, which is the web series that we're hoping to get off the ground. I shouldn't say hoping. That's bullshit. Hoping is bullshit. You can hope in one hand and shit in the other and tell me which one fills up faster. The reality is, I know for a fact The Florist is going to be coming out in the beginning of 2024. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited for it's that time of the day when I get this dramatic lighting on me where I look
Yeah.
like everything I say is really intense. Like I'm about to say something very intense to you, Mike. Um, but yeah, there was a few productions, Mike. We kept busy this year. And here's the thing, man, and I ain't trying to beat my own drum when I say this, but that's all with a 5 month of hiatus. But you got a 5 month strike in the middle, just kind of, stabbing us in the side. So, not a bad year, pretty productive year, all things considered, buddy. Take the wheel for a second. I'm gonna shut my curtains before I go
Yeah.
blind.
Okay. Well, folks, we're here. This is the comeback to end the year strong of And Action Podcast. We had a great year, and thanks everybody. I guess this is our second calendar year and kind of year and a half worth of shows. I think we started about May or June of 2022. Is that right, Tommy?
That sounds correct, Mike. That sounds accurate. It's been a really nice kind of just fluid part of my life. So it's good to be on here. It's good to be chatting with you. It's good to see Kim Kaling on the line here. What's up, Kim? Hope you're
Kim's
having a.
gonna Kim's
I
got a
hope Kim.
birthday coming up too in
Oh,
December.
really?
She's one
No,
of those
really.
She's one of those poor people that are born in the shadow of Christ, Tommy, like one of those people that are born within a week of Jesus. So, although Jesus was probably born in August, but she does have one of those like sob stories of I was born and then Jesus' birthday, Christmas came along a week later. So, special
Well, it's
shout out.
tough. My heart goes out to the December birthdays. It really does. I mean, listen, I'm not knocking it because we don't have any control over what day we get plucked into the universe out of
Right.
our mommy's bellies. We don't get to control that. But the reality is, man, and Mike, I don't want to spend too much time on this in the show, but you can weigh in on this as a December birthday. Like, let's face it, in school, I'm sure it's kind of like the buzz is over. People are thinking about Christmas. They're not thinking about your birthday. The presents become an issue because it's like you're going to get a lot of people are probably going to try and double up on the presents. Like, here's a birthday Christmas present combo job. And for the parents, I got to say, like, I feel my heart goes out to the parents that have to, let's face it, parents have to fund all of these things. So it's like, if your kid's born in December, you got to start doing the math and you're budgeting like, even a modest, let's say you're going to spend a few $100 on your kid for their birthday. It's like, all right, I'm going to spend a few $100 on my kid for their birthday. Ooh, shit. But now I got to spend some money on Christmas too. It's all coming at once. If you're like a summer birthday, then the parent can at least budget a little bit. Like, all right, I'll get this birthday whack in the summer and then I'll save up for when I got to buy all this shit come Santa time. So, Mike, what's that like being a December birthday? Do you
You know,
feel as
buddy,
though you get gypped?
I actually don't. I feel that I'm an early December birthday, which I think if I was born a week later, it would be exactly what you just said. So for people like him, and I have my other friends in my life that were born on December 26th. My buddy has a son that was born on December 31st. He's really screwed the kid because of the school system. He's always going to be the youngest in the class.
Nice.
December 5th is not too bad for that, Tommy. In fact, I would say that one advantage, I had an uncle and aunt that would always get me a birthday slash Christmas gift. And my sister, who's born in March, she wouldn't get anything from these people because they remembered me as like the birthday
Hmm.
Christmas nephew, and my sister got gypped. So the point is, I think I fully understand the curse of the Christmas child, but I think that I'm a little bit exempt because my birthday is actually closer to Thanksgiving than Christmas. I think it's actually like a fourth holiday. I consider my birthday to be the fourth holiday of the season after Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and I guess we should throw Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and everything else in the mix too. But I'm okay. I do appreciate the concern. People like him have suffered more than myself.
Well, hey, shout out to all the December birthdays. Something's going on with my camera. Guys, let me tell you something. One of my initiatives in 2024 is going to be a total technical overhaul of all of my shit.
Yeah.
So the camera's going to look better. The backdrop's going to look better. We're going to figure out this lighting scenario because, frankly, I'm not happy right now. And it is what it is. We're going to get through the show. We're going to grit. We're going to bear. And we're still going to provide some great content for everybody. But that is one of my New Year's resolutions. We'll get into New Year's resolutions later in the show. Let's talk about the topic, Mike. The topic at hand, Christmas movies. Everybody's watching them. This is the time of year you got them out. They're on every streaming platform you look up. It's just like kind of inundated with Christmas movies everywhere. You've got your classics, your Home Alones, your Christmas Vacations, your It's a Wonderful Lifes. And then you've got these other movies that are kind of just, dare I say, assembly line of holiday fare. It seems like, you get the Hallmark Channel just pumping out several. I think there's one every day that comes out practically. Um, it's just a wild, wild west of Christmas stories and holiday fun. And, although we think of all the classics, what we don't realize from a filmmaking standpoint, because again, this is a filmmaking podcast, there is a lot of money to be made in these new Christmas movies coming out every year that you may or may not have even heard of. These aren't multi gajillion dollar films. These are very small, couple $1 million movies that get put on these networks, and they thrive, and everybody does well, meaning the producers do well, the actors do well because they get to work, the crew's getting to work. This is like a whole world. I have a friend, he's more of an acquaintance now, it's been a while, but, I have a friend who all he does is make Christmas movies. Like, that's his
Right.
job. Like, he just produces, 4 or 5 Christmas movies per year.
Wow.
So it's become a thing, Mike.
And I think a good point that you just made about your friend there is if he's producing 4 or 5 Christmas movies a year, that doesn't mean that every screenwriter, on November 1st has the brilliant idea, I should write my Christmas screenplay. You can be writing those Christmas screenplays throughout the year because they're always going to be in production. And it's just one of those things. It seems simple, Tommy, but sometimes people get in those mentalities of, you think about going to the gym on January 1st, you know what I mean? And you think about writing your screenplay for Christmas in the middle of November, but you can start that now. You can start that
Well,
in July. You can start it whenever.
not only can you start it whenever, Mike, I got news for you, and I've got news for everyone watching And Action who might be interested in writing their own screenplay. If you start in November, it's too late. Uh, you know, Christmas movies, most of the Christmas, I've worked on a few Christmas movies actually, and most of the Christmas movies that I've worked on, they're produced in, April, March, sometime, really at maybe the end of the winter. The idea is you want the movie to be finished and out and delivered really by like October
Right.
so that it can be marketed throughout, the end of October and parts of November. And then really like as early as middle of November, those things are coming out. So it really is, like I said, kind of an assembly line how they put them out. And it's an exciting thing, I mean, look, it's similar to people are gonna laugh when I say this, but it's almost like the horror genre. There are a lot of similarities in the Christmas genre and the horror genre, and what I mean by that is you've got a really dedicated audience of people that want to watch these films every year. Obviously Halloween, people watch horror movies year round, but the reality is the major time to watch them, we're talking September, October, in line with Halloween. Same thing with Christmas, so it's like a whole group of people that are just dedicated to watching these films every year. This sun, man, this sun is giving me a goddamn battle. I gotta shut
Right.
these curtains again.
Okay. Well, folks, like Tommy said, the sun is giving them hard times. We appreciate you being here on And
Whew.
Action. We've taken a month off or so, but if you do have friends like our buddy Stephen Edwards, Stephen E., someone can give him a Facebook notification and just copy and share the URL in your social media. And let's get more viewers here for 2024.
Yeah, we appreciate that, guys. Thank you for watching along. All the help you can give us to build the show is much appreciated. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. And if you feel like it, hey, throw our link on your Facebook page and tell your pals to maybe give us a watch. And again, this isn't the kind of show that would be for everybody. But if you're into filmmaking, if you're a writer, if you're an actor, you're a director, producer, I think that you'd get something out of this show on a weekly basis,
Hey,
listening
Tom.
to us bitch and moan about our own personal film careers.
Well, Tommy, I've got a comment and then a question. First, you did mention the parallels between the horror, film world and the Christmas film world, but I would say that, horror filmmakers, especially, there are so many horror film. I just saw Thanksgiving, which is a feature horror film. I made the short film that you helped me with, the Thanksgiving short film, seven
Sure.
or 8 years ago. But there's a feature film in the theaters now. I just saw it last week called Thanksgiving. There is a lot. I remember last Christmas there was something called like Deadly Night or Silent Deadly Night. There's horror slash holiday, especially Christmas movies. Bill Goldberg was in one 20 years ago. So the point is, if you're a horror filmmaker, don't feel excluded from this Christmas chaos,
No,
because
that's a great point, Mike.
you can make a Christmas horror movie.
That's actually become an entire genre of horror, and I should say that's become a whole subgenre. Christmas horror is a real thing. In fact, shout out to Tom Glenn, my dear friend, who worked with Greg Nicotero, the famous special effects artist, and he played a demonic Santa. I got to look that one up. It's a really cool concept. I don't want to. The reason why I'm looking it up is I don't want to butcher this on my dear friend Tom. Tom Glenn Santa. What was that? Real quick. Creep Show. Tom
Oh
Glenn
yeah.
plays the crazy Santa in Creep Show, which is a Stephen King remake that came out just a few years ago. So, yeah, Mike makes a good point. There are a lot of these kind of seasonal horror movies as well. But let's talk about the basics, guys. Why should every filmmaker, every screenwriter, hell, every actor, definitely every producer, have at least one horror concept in their back pocket? I'll tell you right now, because I've been there. I have gotten basically cold calls from producers out in Los Angeles. I don't want to tell tales outside of school. I don't want to drop any names, but talking about very reputable producers who make 100 movies uh, every couple years, and I've gotten calls. Hey, do you have a Christmas movie? As I shut my phone off, this is very rude of me. People are
No, when
calling
they
me.
say, when you say Christmas movie, are they asking for a completed Christmas movie or a Christmas screenplay at that point?
They want a script. When
Okay.
producers say, "Hey, do you have this?" They, if they say movie, they usually mean script. But yeah, basically, you got a Christmas script, and I've kind of had to hem and haw and say, "Well, I got some concepts. I could put something together, but no, I don't have a Christmas script." Uh, and let's put it this way: I never let that happen again. So from then on, I always had a couple of Christmas concepts in my back pocket because you just never know when you're going to get that call. And here's what it comes down to, guys. And remember, this is a filmmaking podcast, which means this isn't just about the love of what we do, it's a job. Like, one of the initiatives of this show and like what I'm trying to do is help people realize that like filmmaking isn't some magical fucking dream in the sky. It's a job, it's an occupation, it's what you do to make your living. So if you're thinking about this like a job, the reality is, if you get that call from a producer who says, "Hey, do you have a Christmas script? Oh, and by the way, if you do, you can direct it." That's a lot of money that you're leaving on the table right there. If you say, "No, I don't have one. Sorry." Call, because guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna say, "Okay, bye." Because that's how it was. This guy literally, there was no bullshitting. There was no like, "Oh, that's okay. So how's your life? How's your holiday season?" This producer was literally like, "Oh, you don't? Okay, bye."
He's
Hung
got
up the
20
phone on
other
me.
he's got to call 20 other guys. You might be second or third on his list, but he's got 20 other men and or women to call after you because he's got to get a movie made of some kind, a Christmas
Yeah, that
movie of some kind.
Yeah, that's how quickly that conversation ends. Um, so later, I kind of prepared myself so that, okay, when that call comes in, I'm going to have at least a really fleshed out concept. But I'd say I kind of urge you all to have more than just a concept, because again, somebody calls you for that script that you say, "Well, I got a good idea." They're going to say, where are the pages? Can you send me the pages?" And then you're going to say, "Oh, well, I'd have to go write it." They're gonna say, "Yeah, I don't have time for that. Sorry." So it's not a bad idea. I hate to write on spec. Writing on spec's not fun. If you don't know what writing on spec means, it means it's short for speculation, meaning
Right.
I'm guessing that I might make money for this at some point, but really you ain't got shit. You have nothing up front. So I hate to write anything for free, but this is one time where I would recommend to screenwriters out there, if you are going to write something for free and just have to keep for yourself in the event that you get that call, writing a Christmas movie and having it in your back pocket's not a bad idea at all, and it's not going to hurt you. And here's the thing, we think Christmas movies. Sometimes we think, we think holiday schmaltz, we think family fun. But the reality is, there are all different types of Christmas movies. There are kind of these, there's slightly darker ones. There are more emotional ones. There are family-driven ones. Mike had mentioned the horror ones. So again, it doesn't have to be Santa and his reindeer running around. It can be something with heart. It could be a story that has, a little extra to it. I think that's the problem with some screenwriters, and I mentioned this earlier in the show. It's like they get so hung up on, oh, I don't write those kind of movies.
Right.
And it's like, oh, really? Do you ever make money with the other kind of movies that you write? Oh, you don't? Oh, you've actually never sold a screenplay before. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be so set in your ways.
Well, Tommy, it's funny. I was just in a barbecue restaurant a few days ago here in Jacksonville, and there's actually in the barbecue restaurant a big chalkboard that says, "Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes or no?" And there's a piece of chalk. My point is that Die Hard, I mean, that is a big debate. We won't get into it right now, but Die Hard has the setting of a Christmas situation. It's at Christmas, the time of year, although it's really an action movie. But I get your point, buddy. I want to ask you this question, and this is a little bit more into the play world. In the playwriting world, people will do so. There's a lot of like theme play festivals, like holiday play festivals, and there's a little bit of a trick or a treat or a technique that some playwrights do. They'll take a stage play that they've already written that has nothing to do with Christmas, nothing to do with the holiday, and they'll Christmas hat it. They'll basically like add a couple of lines of dialogue and a couple of Christmas props and Christmas hats on the characters in order to kind of sneak it under the radar. Oh yeah, this is my Christmas play. It has nothing to do with Christmas. They've just kind of thrown some Christmas gimmicks, like a Santa Claus standing in the corner, like a drugstore Santa. So my question to you, Tommy, is in the screenwriting world, could that cheat or that trick work? Could you take your non-Christmas screenplay, Christmas it up, Santa it up, put some snowflakes in there, put some candy canes in the background, and call your newly written script, Chris and the Christmas Coffee Girl? Could you pull that off, or is that a bunch of crap and you should just start from page one with a
Well,
new
Mike,
script?
what's that old phrase? Work smarter, not harder, right?
Right, right.
So listen, I'm not joking. If you already have, say, now there are certain genres where it's going to really work well. I'm going to give you one. Let's say you already have a romantic comedy that you wrote that is cute, it's fun, it's got a nice relationship story wrapped in it. Fuck yeah, you can go ahead and throw a couple of Christmas parties in the mix. Change the work party to a Christmas party. Change the date at the beach to the Christmas tree lighting festival. Whatever it is, go in and kind of I guess you could say
Reimagine.
modify, yeah,
Yeah.
reimagine and modify that regular old romantic comedy into being a Christmas comedy. That's a great idea, Mike. So there you go. Mike just gave all you writers out there watching this a great idea. You say to yourself, shit, I don't have a Christmas concept. I don't really have an idea, but I do have a couple other scripts. Maybe you can go into your script Rolodex, your bag of tricks there, and say, oh, revisit some of your older screenplays and say, geez, how do I make this a holiday hit? And who knows, Mike? That's a great idea, because who knows, that little sprinkle of holiday magic might be what you needed to get that script off the ground if it was just sitting on a shelf or sitting on your desktop on your laptop, you know what I mean?
Well, remember that next week when I send you Christmas and the Coffee Girl, buddy. Remember that.
Hey, that one's got a nice ring to it, buddy. Um, let's take a quick moment here to see what's up with everybody. Kim Kaling, who's just always such a terrific person, awesome actor, and we're happy to have her support on the show. This one was really funny. She goes, I think she's talking about She goes, I'm always very thankful though. The story was from when I was little. Hags. She didn't mean to say hags. She meant to say ha ha. And when I first
Yeah.
read this, I was like, all right, Kim. She was like, those hags. But Kim, you're the best. We appreciate you. Robert Marsala, what's up, brother?
Hey,
Robert's a
Robert.
great actor, stunt man. He does a little bit of everything. Good to see you, Robert.
He's a good
And
cigar
of course,
smoker too. Hey,
is that
Mike.
right? Very
Yeah,
cool. And then of
Robert.
course
Robert is a good smoker. Good
we have,
cigar.
as they say, the alternate Mike Messier. This you guys should be a tag team. The double Mike Messier's tag team champions of the world. Mike's also a very talented actor, and Mike had a nice part in The Last Tenant. Got to work with Mike on The Last Tenant, so that was kind of fun. And also, conspicuous by his absence, Mike was actually in a really great scene with our good buddy Stephen E., who's not here today, but I'm sure he'll watch this on repeat. Some people have lives. I guess Stephen E.'s got somewhere to be right now. Stephen E., shout out to you. You did a great job with The Last Tenant. We miss you. We hope you're having a great holiday season. So let's talk about important elements in a Christmas movie. So, all right, here it is. It's December 5th. You decided, you know what? I'm not going to be caught with my pants down next year. I'm going to have a Christmas story and I'm going to be ready to go and I'm going to start writing. Well, what do you want to do? What should you be doing? Now, I'm going to talk about the more traditional genre, the family friendly. Let me try that again. The family friendly genre, which I find to be, if you're really trying to do this, that's the easiest sell, right? The rated PG, let's not get crazy. And these stories usually focus around a family that is put in some situation where there can be a teachable moment. It's a great phrase there in the Christmas genre. There's got to be a teachable moment where your character can go on a journey. And as corny as it sounds, ultimately on this path, discover the true meaning of Christmas, learn what they've been missing out on. The greatest example of this formula, which has been repeated and repeated for literally well over 100 years, couple hundred years now, that would be the great Charles Dickens and his remarkable story, A Christmas Carol. I mean, what a great story. We're talking about a real son of a bitch prick fuck who hates everybody, and he's a greedy son of a bitch. He's visited by three fucking spirits in the middle of the night, which maybe he should be on medication. That's a side note. And he realizes what a piece of fucking shit he's been. And he realizes that, god damn it, if I'm just a little bit fucking nicer to people, and if I have a little gratitude, and if I give a little bit, I'm going to get back more than any fucking monetary amount in the world. And that's just holiday spirit, love, cheer, god damn it. What a fucking story that is. Charles Dickens, shout out to you. I mean, it's a fucking wonderful story. And here's the best part about it. You can kind of take that chassis, to use a car term. Nice chassis, Mike. You got a nice
Sure.
chassis on you. You can take that chassis and you can adapt that to so many other stories and elements. But really, if you're going to write, think about the journey that Ebenezer Scrooge takes. I'm
Yes.
not saying you got to go remake Christmas Carol in your story, but there should always be that character that realizes why we all get that little fuzzy feeling in our bellies this time of year. And maybe he doesn't have that. He or she or they don't have that fuzzy feeling, and then they get it somehow. Now, what I just said is very simple, but you can write a whole script based off of that concept. They don't have the spirit. They find something bad happens. They have to get it back. They get it back. They learn. They gain something. So that's kind of like, again, that's my screenwriting tips for free today. If you're watching And Action, take your central characters through a journey. Let them know what they're missing. Let them realize what they're missing and what this time of year does. That's a Christmas movie, man. That's what it's all about. That's the
Well,
message.
Tommy, as you were describing that so eloquently, it made me think of the parallels between A Christmas Carol and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which I'm sure other people have seen that as well. But the Grinch has got this sour heart of coal or lead or whatever his heart's made out of, and before you know it, he's giving out gifts and wearing the hat. And another movie that is kind of the inverse of this, buddy, is one that I like. Is you mentioned it earlier, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with the incomparable Chevy Chase. And what I like about Christmas Vacation is that Griswold, always the father, he always has the Christmas spirit, and he's trying to do the thing with the lights and everything. But it's like his community, his kids, his in-laws, Randy Quaid as the in-law, they don't have the Christmas spirit in the same way that he does. And his spirit that can't be broken despite the obstacles, eventually he wins over everybody and he gets his Christmas bonus and all that good stuff. And I feel that in a comedic way, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is probably my favorite of all the vacation movies, and one of my favorite Christmas movies in general, Tommy, because the comedy comes through of you're trying to make this holiday special, but the elements of just being a suburban dad is against you, and I like that type of movie. So that
Yeah, that,
the arc is the word that I was looking for that you described with Uncle Scrooge and with the Grinch and with the people in Christmas Vacation. The
yeah, no
character arc.
question, Mike. And what's unique about Christmas Vacation, and now that you mention it, and boy, what a great fucking movie! By far one of the top holiday movies of all time. It'll live on forever. But what you said about it that's so unique is it's actually the opposite. Clark is the one who's just trying so fucking hard the whole movie to have this perfect holiday presentation for his family, and every possible thing goes wrong. And he almost gives up. He basically goes in. I mean, Clark goes insane at the end of the movie. We all
Yeah,
laugh and we make
right.
fun. Clark literally goes fucking insane at the end of the movie. He's clutching a chainsaw. Cousin Eddie kidnaps his boss. It gets wild.
Yeah.
Uh, but like you said, that holiday spirit is so fucking strong that it kind of overwhelms all the bullshit. And even played by Brian Doyle Murray, Bill Murray's brother, who's a terrific actor, his Clark's boss. At the end, even he like kind of forget about it. I know you kidnapped me and plucked me out of my bed in the middle of the night with a shotgun or whatever, but it's all good. Let's just have a nice Christmas, and yeah, you will get your bonus. So what a wonderful story. And hey, let's talk about another one. You want to talk about that arc, and Robert Marcella here brings up a great point that these are all great stories of redemption. Um, Home Alone. Let's take a look at Home Alone. Okay, you get this uh, just a dynamic actor played by Macaulay Culkin is just like he's like a 30-something-year-old man in a 10-year-old's body. Like his comedic timing, his awareness, even in the serious moments. I mean, that kid could do it all. And congratulations to Macaulay Culkin for finally getting recognized on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Got himself a star. That was really nice to see. It was all over social media. Beautiful picture of him hugging the woman who played his mom. But let's take a look at that story. Kind of unique. Kevin McAllister didn't really get along with the rest of his families. All of his older brothers and sisters, his older cousins, they were all kind of pricks to him. Even his
Yeah.
uncle was a dickhead, right? So he says, you know what? Fuck Christmas. I want to be alone. I wish my family disappeared. He literally wishes his family fucking disappears, okay? And he wakes up in the morning and they're gone. And this little bastard thinks he made his fucking family. That's the thing, guys. Like, do you realize he really thinks he wished them gone and they're gone? And then throughout, in the beginning, he's like, sick. This is awesome. I'm eating ice cream. I'm loving life. This is fucking great. But then when things shit hits the fan, when those sticky bandits come, and all of a sudden he's kind of second guessing this whole make my family disappear thing. Um, Also, worst police work in the history of police. Parents say the kid's missing in the house. Cop comes up to the door, knocks on the door, looks around, and says, "The house looks secure. Tell them to count their kids again." Doesn't go in the house.
Right.
Doesn't check to see if poor little Kevin is sprawled out dead on the living room floor. The house looks secure. all the doors are locked. Tell them to count their kids again. That's it. That's the police work that he puts out. But anyway, the point is, what do you notice about all these movies? They have a unique moment where in the beginning, the first act, the character's like, fuck this, whatever it may be. You know, Scrooge's fuck this is, I don't want to have anything to do with Christmas. Kevin's is, I don't want to have anything to do with my family. Clark's isn't really a fuck this. It's like, I'm trying so hard and everything keeps just going wrong. So you're always fighting some kind of fight that's going to, like Mike said, arc out real hard at the end. And the great thing about Christmas movies is when you're writing these things, you can get creative because we can implement some elements of Christmas motherfucking magic, guys. Not everything needs to even make sense. You can literally use magic if you need to. Take a story like Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, right? Love that movie. Here's a guy divorced, right? Just trying to be like an okay dad on Christmas. He winds up being fucking Santa Claus, the actual Santa Claus, all right? And what is that, guys? That's magic. It ain't gonna really happen. I got news for you. That's never gonna really happen. But in these Christmas movies, we can take these leaps creatively and we can go on these rides and we can believe that this stuff's happening. So don't be afraid to use an element of little Christmas magic in your story.
Well, Tommy, let's cross-reference the Christmas movie that you made that I like quite a bit with Ed Asner as Santa, and they had the Mike Bennett as the pro wrestler. I was in the post office scene, and that was we already did an episode on that one. What's the title of that one?
Yeah, that movie is called Saving Christmas. Took me a minute to think of it.
They had a few titles,
It's
right?
not
No,
because I'm high. It's because it originally was called The Santa Files. So in my heart,
yes.
as a writer, I don't know if this happens to, I'm sure this happened to you, but like we all change names of our movies sometimes. But for me, it's like I always remember it as what it was in the beginning. You know what I mean? So like that was first called The Santa Files. So I'll always think of it like that. It's actually called Saving
Saving
Christmas. And
Christmas.
yeah, it's available now. You can check it out. Just punch in your Google machine, Saving Christmas. There are two movies called Saving Christmas. So make sure you get the one that I directed. So if you type in my name, DiNucci, Saving Christmas, the right one will come up. Great cast. I had a blast working with Ed Asner. Fred Sullivan's in that movie. Mike mentioned Michael Bennett, Maria Kanellis, his wife's also in that movie. A lot of great wrestlers.
Tommy Dreamer,
Tommy Dreamer, David Heath,
David Gear.
Gangrel,
Yeah.
David Gear, but also just Brooke Langdon's in the movie. Patrick Muldoon is in that movie. Really great cast. A lot of really talented actors that were youngsters at the time. It's funny. This movie was shot, I think, about 6 or 7 years ago. So all these kid actors that I worked with, they're all in college now. So it's kind of fun. I follow their parents on Facebook or whatever. And it's funny to see these kids that were, 9, 10 years old, and they're all grown up now and they're doing their thing. So that was a really great movie. I had an amazing experience on that one. And, here are a couple of things that I want filmmakers as you go and write your movies and eventually, hopefully, make your Christmas movies. Here are a couple of just tips. All right. And these aren't things that I'm making up. These are things that I was told by the distributor. The distributors actually gave me the cheat sheet, guys. They gave me the fucking cheat sheet on Christmas movies, and I'm giving it to you now. So here's the cheat sheet. There's a phrase called Christmas in every shot. All right. And I know what you're thinking. Well, what the fuck does that mean? It means there must be some representation, some element of Christmas in every single frame of the movie. What does that mean, Tom? What do you mean Christmas in every shot, Tom? Well, for example, if this were a scene in a movie and we were shooting this scene, I better have a fucking Christmas wreath behind me. And Mike, you better have fucking Christmas lights behind you. And I'm okay because I got a green shirt on. But Mike, you should probably have a red shirt on, or you should probably at least have like a red hat. So the idea is you want to put, this is no bullshit, guys. I know it sounds insane. I'm not making this up. Mike's getting in the mode right now. See, Mike is getting himself Christmas ready. See, now we got a nice ideal Christmas frame. I've got the green on. Mike's got the red on. So you want to put Christmas in every frame. If it were a shot of someone's desk, you better have a little fucking Santa on the desk. If we're driving in a car, I better see a fucking mistletoe ball hanging from the rearview mirror. They want Christmas in every single shot. So find a way to make that happen, because it really does go a long way. It's really funny, guys. If you take a look at these movie posters, I actually saw like a GIF or a meme, whatever the fuck, for this. Just a bunch of these Hallmark Christmas movies that are coming out, and it was their posters kind of side by side, 24 of them. It's the same fucking poster every time. One side's green, one side's red. The guy's dressed in red, the girl's dressed in the girl's dressed in red, the guy's dressed in green. There's a tree behind him. There might be a giant Christmas bulb somewhere in there, an ornament. So these movies are like literally just like they're being like stamped out at an assembly line. And listen, I'm not knocking this. I fucking love it. I love formulas. I love anything that gets people an easier path to watching the movies. And it just makes them feel good, man. There's something about, there's got to be some psychological connection to like when you see that movie poster and you see the tree and you see the red and the green and the bulbs and the lights and reindeer and Rudolph and the stockings. You get in that zone where you say, okay, and you don't even know you're doing this, but your body is subconsciously getting in the fucking Christmas spirit. And these filmmakers, they're like magicians, and they're able to conjure up those feelings through the beauty and the craft and the wonderment of cinema.
Well, Tommy, it's interesting. There's something about psychology with people when you're consuming entertainment that you want new, but you want familiar at the same time.
Yes.
So you want something that you can relate to that you've already seen, but in a different, but you want something new that reminds you of everything else you've seen. I saw a funny meme, Tommy, of someone took Eyes Wide Shut, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, and they reimagined Eyes Wide Shut as a generic romantic comedy. And they had like
that's hilarious.
Yeah, they had like,
that's funny.
It is funny. They had the
coming this spring.
Right. They had Tom and Nicole standing back to back with Tom on a stack of books so that he's as tall as her. And like they're wrapped with like some type of wrapping around them. And it's like, you'll never guess who's coming to the party. Eyes Wide Shut with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. So yeah, Tommy, it's interesting. If you can repackage or give the audience something that they've already seen, but in a new way with your own unique spin on it, but not too unique, you might have a surefire film that could be produced. And I think a lot of your lessons, Tommy, are for people, kind of like myself. They've been struggling with screenwriting. They're trying to break through, but it's a very tough business, as we know. And anything you can get your foot in the door, sometimes you can't have your most out there, unique art house type of script. Sometimes you have to go a little more mainstream just to get a foot in the door. And hopefully if you're majorly successful at some point in your career, that's when you can start unloading all your art house stuff on the universe once you build up that following. But these advice lessons are good for people that are trying to get that first credit on their resume.
I think a lot of people get afraid of falling into traps. When I say, when I'm talking about to me, because I've been doing this for a long time, the slightly obnoxious attitude of, oh, I don't write those kind of movies. This is usually coming from a person who's literally never sold a screenplay in their life. And I get it. I'm trying to, it's a holiday season. I'm trying to not be so cynical. I'm trying to gain a little wisdom as I age, as these dark hairs turn gray. I'm trying to not be so goddamn angry all the time. So I'm going to listen to their point of view. And I guess what a lot of people might be afraid of is, well, I don't want to write those kind of movies because if I write those kind of movies and I make one Christmas movie, ooh, what if they want me to make another one? And then what if I make another one? And then what am I going to become, the Christmas movie guy? And here's what I say to that. If you're not currently any movie guy, would it be so bad to be the Christmas movie guy? You're not even a movie guy to begin with. What's the worst that could happen? You make a few Christmas movies, and then maybe you segue from there. Like, don't be afraid of things that might happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's the worst way to live your creative career. Like, ooh, it's the same, it's the same guys that don't want to do extra work because they're afraid if they do extra work, then they won't be considered for a major role. And it's like, well, guess what, motherfucker? You're not considered for major roles anyway. So at least if you do the extra work, you might have an opportunity where a director sees you and they're like, oh, this guy's got a cool look. Hey, can you say one line? We want him to say one line. And then maybe that's how you get your shot. But I think that any attitude as a creative that's cut and dry like that, like, oh, I don't write these kind of movies. I don't do background. I don't do this. Don't means, well, guess what? You're probably not going to grow. Like all these people that put these rules on like what they are willing and not willing to get involved in. Just be happy that you're playing on the field. You're making some form of a movie. Like when I listen after right before I did my Christmas movie, I had just done like some kind of really really violent horror movie. It was the exact opposite of what I was about to get into. And there was a little part of me that's like, damn, man, I'm gonna put my name on this thing. People are gonna go from seeing like Almost Mercy, which I thought was like a really dark and edgy and kind of, intelligent film, and now I'm gonna be talking about fucking Santa Claus. Like, what's going on here? And then I said to myself, you know what? Every musician has a Christmas album for the most part. Like almost every artist that's making music has a Christmas album. This is my Christmas album, everybody. Here it is. If you don't like it, happy holidays to you. And that's
Oh,
my
buddy,
way. Like
Mariah Carey was the number one pop singer for 10 years, and she started doing Christmas, and she's stuck with it. And now Mariah Carey is like Rudolph. She's, you think of Mariah Carey, you think of Christmas, and vice versa. But Tommy, I was going to say this. I taught a self-publishing for Amazon class at the Jacksonville Public Library on Saturday. What an experience, Tommy! I had 40 people who want to publish books in this workshop. It was a lot of information, blah blah blah. But a question came up a couple of times, which was about stealing and theft. And the students were like, well, what if I put my book on Amazon and somebody steals it? And I just said, look, we're in a day and age, post Napster 25 years ago, where you have to put your stuff on the internet. Yes, there's a chance that someone's going to steal it. The good news is if they steal it and they distribute it, well, maybe you'll get some real fans who actually pay for your work. And if nothing else, maybe you can sue the person that stole your stuff. My point is a parallel to your point, Tommy. I think a lot of people live in a fear-based initiative. Like, what if I become a little bit successful? Will somebody screw me over? Or will I get pigeonholed? Or will I be typecast? Or will they just think of me as this or that? And the point I'm just making is it's better to be typecast than not cast. I think we've lost Tommy here, folks, which is too bad, but it gives me an opportunity to say, yes, it is my birthday. You can go to Amazon and buy my wonderful film book. Let me know in the comments, Robert or Kim or anybody else, Mike Messier, the other Mike Messier. Are you seeing me or are you seeing Tommy? Because right now I don't see Tommy on the show. I see myself. What else is going on here, folks? I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida. The weather is a little chilly. I did go swimming in the outdoor pool, yes, in December, outside. This is my other wonderful book, Fight or Play Basketball, which has been adapted into a screenplay. Let me know in the chat if I'm still on or if Tommy is here by himself. I don't see Tommy. I'm very disturbed. MikeMessier.com. I have been reading this book, The Tao of Wu. Actually, I haven't been reading it. I'm in a book club on Wednesday nights, and the person just reads the book to me, but I bought the book anyway. What else, folks? Your buddy Mike Messier. I did see some good films recently. I'm trying to think what I saw. I saw that Thanksgiving horror movie. It was okay. It was a little bit by the numbers. It was very gory. A lot of, for the horror fans, a lot of good kills. It wasn't my favorite horror film of all time. Mike Messier, my buddy here, says he sees Mike and not Tommy. I think this is the same Mike Messier that used to work in the Warwick, Rhode Island movie theater system, which actually he's got a plaque on the wall. If this is the same Mike Messier, he's got a plaque on the cinema wall, which I actually posed with a few times, Mike. And I took credit that your plaque was for me. So no offense. This wonderful book, Kate Spain Presents Bad Girls with Good Tattoos. This is available on Amazon. This is a book by Kate Spain. She's the farmers market manager for Starkfield, Massachusetts. You might be saying, well, gee whiz, Mike, what do you want for your birthday? All I want is for everyone to enjoy world peace and to buy my books. You can also go to eBay, The Foreign Object, and get my stuff there. Hey, Tommy, welcome back, buddy.
Wow. Well, I'm back. We got
you went to the
frozen there.
cyberverse.
Things got ugly, guys, but we're happy to be back. And hopefully Mike had a chance to, plug some of his doing birthday plugs for Mike, birthday book plugs.
I don't want
But
people
yeah,
to.
Mike, the last thing that you said before I
Yeah.
got thrown into the abyss was that,
Yes.
you know, people, you were talking about kind of like they make excuses and put all these rules together for, like, you know, really no reason. And all these rules are kind of counterproductive because what they do is they kind of like, you're labeling yourself. What are you labeling yourself for like that?
It's also like you're predicting, like, if I get to be successful, someone might screw me over. Well, my point is get successful first and see what happens. Like get to the point where you actually have something valuable enough that somebody wants to steal your online book, PDF, or and my other point that you might have missed, Tommy, is I said for actors especially who are like, well, I don't want to play the bad guy all the time, or I don't want to play the comedic friend all the time. It's better to be typecast than not cast. Worry about it when you have enough roles coming in that are similar that you can start refusing projects. But when you're just kind of obscure, and I feel that I'm obscure too, you don't really have that position of power to refuse work of any kind. If you want to get somewhere, sometimes you just got to grit your teeth and do silly things, or write scripts that maybe aren't your favorite type of script in order to just progress at all.
Yeah, it's true, Mike. I'm speaking very close to the camera now, and there's a reason for that. I'm really not trying to get inside your mind, but I have this autofocus deal where sometimes if I move too much, like right now, see, like, watch, it'll focus on my knuckles here.
Yeah.
I got to focus on my hand and then pull my hand back to my face. And that's how I trick this new webcam into staying in focus.
So
See,
that's the
that's
deal.
the,
You okay?
yeah, I fucking hate technology, guys, and we're trying our best. That's why my initiative for the new year is to, you know, spruce this shit up a little bit so that we're a little more, you know, presentational for you all. But you know, nonetheless, Mike, you make a great point. People kind of are worried about, well, you worried about playing the bad guy? Like what? That doesn't even make any sense. The greatest characters in the world are bad guys. So yeah, I think that, you know, sometimes we say these things maybe as excuses for some of the, you know, shortcomings that we're having. And also, I think a lot of people say these things just because, like, it's actor talk, and like they think that that's what act, you know, they hear like one of their. I'm doing all this weird shit just trying to get my fucking camera to focus on me. There we go. Look, how weird is it that like this is in focus?
Yeah, that's a little weird, buddy.
But see, watch, if I go slow enough, we're learning about focal depth today.
This
Oh,
webcam is
find your range, guys.
yeah.
Seeing right here, it's like, fuck you. I don't want to focus. Here, I don't know. Let's go. What if we go back here? Whoa. Hey, now. Everybody, it's like you're looking at me through beer goggles right now. So, in any case, yeah, Mike, I think we're worried about that stuff too. There's too much actor talk. There's too much, oh no, what if I do this? If I do this, then they won't do that. And look, as long as you're not like doing like hardcore porno, there's really nothing that's going to hurt you that you put out there in the world. And even if you are doing hardcore porno, hell, there's there's a lot of porn stars that went on to have acting careers. So like really, there's no wrong way to approach this, guys. And the more you limit yourself, the more problems you're going to have down the road. But wrapping up Christmas movies as we approach the 1 hour mark here on our comeback special, our Mike birthday extravaganza episode. You know, I think it's important to kind of as you sit there in your comfy holiday chair, sipping on that eggnog,
Right.
watching these Christmas movies, because I'm sure, like every family does. I mean, I'll be watching, you know, I'll have a nice little movie marathon with my fam on probably Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. As you're sitting down throughout these next couple weeks and you're watching all these movies, I want you to think of them not like a fanboy, not like you know, not like just a kid, although these movies do take you there. I want you to start to look at these movies from the perspective of a filmmaker and start saying to yourself, man, what is it about these movies that make them tick? And you'll see that all these movies have a lot of similarities. And if you could kind of find what those similarities are and lean into your own personal strengths, you can write a really great, unique Christmas movie that's going to make people happy and going to be very sellable. Guys, I can't stress that to you enough. That's kind of like if you take anything from this episode, aside from the fact that my fucking camera can't focus for shit. If you take anything from this episode, it should just be that Christmas movies are a way to make money in this business. If you have a Christmas movie and it's a good script, people are going to be attracted to it. Robert here says, side note, who's your favorite Scrooge? I'm partial to George C. Scott. Albert Finley tied with Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart was good. Honorable mention Scrooge McDuck and Bill Murray Scrooge. Man, that's a good question. I'm with you, brother. I think George C. Scott did it the best. I think it's hard to top George C. Scott. Like if we're talking an acting competition, if George C. Scott is lined up next to you, you're probably coming in second place, the best he can do. So I think George C. Scott was great, but I got to tell you, man, I love Bill Murray and Scrooged. I think that I was talking to this. I have another show called Rushmore. If you haven't checked it out yet, go over and check out Rushmore channel and give that a subscribe. We talk about the top 4 movies. It's a big movie show. We were talking about the top 4 Christmas movies, and we got to talking about one of mine was Scrooged. And I feel like Bill Murray is just so great at playing that Ebenezer side of things. The whole, he can play for lack of a better word, a dick better than anybody. And he is such a fucking dick in the beginning of that movie. It's priceless. I love Scrooge. I think it's really great. Shout out to Scrooge. If you haven't seen that movie, I know a lot of people that watch this show might be born in the 90s or maybe even born in the 2000s. Good Lord.
I think Scrooge came out in '89.
Scrooge, yeah, Scrooge came out in the late 80s. So if you're one of these kids who, it's funny, man, the older I get, I work with a lot of 20-somethings on these movie sets. And there's a good chance that if you're a 20-something, you might have just missed Scrooge. Maybe you just didn't see it, So if you haven't seen Scrooged, get your ass over to watch Scrooged immediately.
Towel or VCR? That's the biggest takeaway I take from Scrooged. Tommy, for me, that answer, Robert, would actually be, and I know no one's going to really know this, but I did a dinner theater show, Murder on Us Dinner Theater. We had a Deadly Christmas Carol was our big moneymaker every year. The guy that played Scrooge in our theater company was really good. He was Rick, the Vietnam vet, and he had the long, scraggly gray hair, the beard, the mustache. And when we did Scrooge,
Are you
he
really
was
putting
always super
over?
good.
Are you really putting over Rick the Vietnam vet on And Action? You're wasting our valuable advertisers' dollars
I'm being a
on
patriot.
on Rick the Vietnam vet.
I'm
We're talking about George C. Scott, and you're comparing him to Rick the Vietnam vet.
I'm giving Rick the Vietnam vet the love that this country full of hippies never did in 1967, Tommy.
Mike, that was one of the funniest things that you said on the show. Period.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we love
Rick the
we love you for that.
Rick the Vietnam vet. His day job was installing DirecTV in Coventry, Rhode Island, and his night job was playing Scrooge like no other, better than George C. Scott.
Join us next week on And Action when we do a full deep dive on Rick the Vietnam vet. Mike, I love you for that. And listen, the reality is it's your birthday, so I'm not going to hammer you too hard on this one. But yes, listen, the reality is there's a lot of great Scrooges out there. It's a great character. And I think it's almost time, Mike. What do you think of this? I think it's almost time for a Scrooged 2.0, the 2024 version of Scrooged. I think it's almost time for a great movie star to kind of retell that Dickensian tale in modern times. Think about it with social media. There's so many new elements that weren't part of even Scrooged back in the late 80s that, be fun to kind of revisit that and see some like for example, picture like an Elon Musk. Like if Elon Musk was visited by 3 fucking spirits, like that would kind of be the premise. Don't go stealing my idea now, because this is a good one.
Well, buddy, I mean, even I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Bill Murray's had all these people. Richard Dreyfuss claims that Bill Murray threw an ashtray at his head when they were making What About Bob, and Lucy Liu had issues with Bill Murray on Charlie's Angels so much that Bill Murray got replaced in Charlie's Angels too. So I could see a movie where Bill Murray is like visited by the ghost of John Belushi, and he's visited by Richard Dreyfuss, and Lucy Liu is all the ghosts, and they say, Bill, although you had all these wonderful talents, you were also a bit of a pompous ass when we were making these feature films, and now you're
Hey,
going to pay for your sins, Bill. I think
I
that would
think
be
that,
funny.
instead of, I think that people are going to have to visit the dispensary before they watch that one.
I,
That
I
was a,
would I would watch that movie, buddy. Well, look, this has been a fun thing. Tommy, you made some good points. I think all the potential screenwriters out there, use your final draft. Don't just use your Microsoft Word, for God's sakes. Actually invest the $200 in proper film writing screenplays software.
yes.
And Tommy, I did want to put a shout out to a cross reference. The episode that we did about your Christmas movie, Saving Christmas, aka the Santa Files, was actually episode 28. It was about December 21, 2022. So
Wow.
almost a year ago, we did an episode. And then there was another movie that we did an episode on, Tommy. You were an actor in it. You played the British guy, our buddy David Gear and Chelsea Vale, that are expecting their Christmas bundle of joy any week now. What was that movie again that we did an episode on?
Merry Xmas. Yeah, if you haven't seen Merry Xmas and you'd like to see me as a British rock star, you can watch that movie out. Blonde hair. It was a crazy thing. I had bleach blonde hair. It was a lot of fun. And also shout out to Ariana Pacheco, who's not here because she's not feeling well.
I'm
So
sorry to hear that.
Ariana, we hope you feel better. And Ariana and I are actually writing a Christmas movie uh, right now, and it's pretty cool. Don't want to let the cat out of the bag too much on that one, but we were supposed to meet yesterday to have our one of our I don't want to say final writing sessions, but definitely we're closing in on the finish, and she's not feeling well, so we hope she feels better. And we want everyone to have a wonderful holiday season. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back next week, so we appreciate everyone kind of spending some time with us. If you're still listening along, thank you for sticking it out with us through some of those technical difficulties. I was thrown into the frozen tundra for a moment there, but I'm back now. And Mike, I mean this, brother. Happiest birthday to you. We all love you very
Thanks,
much.
pal.
We
Appreciate it.
appreciate you. You're a wonderful listener. You're a terrific guy. I want everyone watching this show to know that out of all my friends, really all my friends, if I call up Mike, I can bitch and moan and complain to him about almost anything, and he won't hang up on me. He won't tell me to shut the fuck up. He'll actually listen, um, and he'll give me some great insights. And that kind of friendship, Mike, you can't buy that at Walmart, that's for sure. So I really appreciate that. And thanks for being you, brother. We all
Well, I
love you, man. Happy
love you
birthday.
too, buddy. And this has been a great experience. And appreciate the kind words, Tommy. And I did want to say that Merry Xmas episode 27. We do have a nice catalog of back episodes, Tommy. So I mean, there's so many experiences that we might mention on this episode. But if you want the deep dive, go into the history. And I did have a great time last Thanksgiving, buddy. 13 months ago with your family up in New England. I'm overdue to get back to New England. But I think when I do
Yes.
get up there, buddy, I think that there'll maybe some changes with me that people might appreciate, or maybe not. And we'll see. I'll get up there at some point in 2024, I'm sure.
Well, I'm digging the long hair, brother. It looks good, especially like in the beanie. Looks good with the little drop. You get the little drop down in the beanie. That looks good.
Yeah, that used to be your look, buddy. When I first met you, I
Well,
used to do that all the time.
hey, maybe I'll grow it back for the winter. We'll see. All right, thanks everybody. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, go on over and hit that subscribe button for us, and we'll see you next Tuesday on End Action. Happy holidays, everybody.
Ho ho ho.